Hey everybody, Joseph here. Glad to have you along. I'm super excited to be using the DJI RS2 Ronin here, tracking with my R6. I've got a 35mm f1.8 RF lens on there. Really great stabilized lens, having fun with it. But today, friends, today we're going to be talking about something that I'm excited about and that is a little bit quirky. This little bitty, tiny EFS lens for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K, which has an EF or EFS sensor. The interesting thing about this for me is, instead of having to carry around a big giant honking, this is an EFS 17 to 55mm f2.8, a really nice would-be L series lens, but it's not because it's inside of the category of EFS. There are no L lenses for that. And I just, thought, what would be the lightest weight, easiest to carry lens that I could ever possibly imagine for this Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K. Reasons you might want that sort of thing is when you're trying to figure out how you can actually work with something that's a little more discreet, a little more street friendly or otherwise, or just something very tiny. I mean, look at this thing. Can you see this? It is absolutely a tiny little pancake lens, as they're known. And again, not giant in size, but maybe possible. So I got one of these and I just want to try it out and see how it feels. So again, that is the tiniest profile of a lens you're ever going to have, ever, on a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K or anything else. Tiny little pancake lens, and let's just maybe, power it on and see how it looks. I'll shoot some of the footage here as well to give an idea of what that might look like, and then, we'll see how it looks. So benefits of this lens, it's super tiny. Drawbacks, electronic manual focusing, which is not easy to work with, nor very exciting. But let me get all the settings set up and we'll go from there. Interesting because look at the difference of size. This one a couple of pounds, this one a mere amount of grams. And so let's see maybe sort of how this looks. I'll start off with just a little bit of filming some of the things. I'm using the Rode MTG hybrid mic. This is the shallow f2.8 here, all the way down and into a Rode Wireless Go 2 transmitting over here to the pack over here. Let me see if this will actually follow me. There we go, now it's tracking me. So if you look here on this camera setup, the R6, there's some interesting things on it. Again, got the Wireless Go 2 on top, into the camera, and this RS2 Ronin is running off of this really interesting Tilta setup for me, which is super helpful, running down into a V-mount battery. This is a Core SWX battery, which works great for me and powers a lot of things. And then it allows this to essentially become, a moving, tracking, subject monitoring thing that is also going to let me pull some focus. So let's see if I can get this back on for me. Yeah, there we go. So now, if I can get the camera to also follow me, there we go, that's better, then this will work out. So, turn this light off. This is a handy dandy little, fancy little light. This is the Aputure MC series, great little light. You can take anywhere with you. And so now this thing is tracking me, and we're making that part work. The great thing about this little tiny little lens is that it works great for what you need it to. It's not fancy, it is real cheap. You can get them used for 120 bucks. You can find them there. There are lots of them. If you also shoot on an EFS body, then this is a great thing. All the cameras I'm shooting on right now for still photography are full frame, so I need EF class, not EFS. Sometimes you can use like this one on an adapted lens for EF to RF. It'll crop in 1.6 times, but it's still usable in some scenarios. On the Canon EOS R, it essentially makes it a 12 megapixel camera. If you take the 20 megapixel R6, you're gonna lose a lot more data and information than I would probably want to. But for this to be a backup lens, not a bad idea. So again, for many people, this might look ridiculous, but the fact that I could then carry this anywhere and it looked very similar to just a standard still camera, you could be able to film high quality 6K footage with 13 stops of dynamic range anywhere you might want to be with something in a very tiny package, very small, discreet if you need it to be, rather than carrying a big honking lens on the end. And also for cost, this might be a great thing. Aputure is f2.8, so you get some decent out of focus work on this, decent in low light. It's not stabilized. However, with the new gyro data, we're able to transmit and pull out of what's getting put into the Blackmagic sensor with the new update 7.3. This has some possibilities. I will let you hear how this focuses and how it sounds. A little bit of an electric focus. And so that's annoying if you're taking this camera on a trip or something and you need good clean audio coming out of the two things here. You're gonna have wah, 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 every time you do this. But if audio is not an issue or you're out just shooting around doing some things, this might be a viable option for some folks. Again, out of curiosity, just trying to find what sort of lenses work well with this. I absolutely love having this 17-55 image stabilized, super nice Canon glass. A 24mm is comparable. My other 24mm lenses are huge and heavy compared to this tiny, tiny little package. This also can just stay on here, and I could be shooting at 24 with a different camera body system and then not have to worry about moving this around. And when you think about travel size and when you're trying to figure out, man, do I want to pack that lens or not? When you see the size of this thing, it is literally the tiniest lens you could possibly imagine. Everybody has room in their bag for this thing. And so if it allowed you to take a 24 and then carry some big fat zoom lens or something larger or maybe heavier, and this was the amount of weight you needed to get it back, then this might be totally worth it for you. And so, yeah. Hope you enjoy this video. If it's found meaningful, please do like it. Subscribe to the channel, and if there's questions you have about lenses, or does anybody else use this thing? Is it absolutely crazy from the Blackmagic community to use some cheap $100 and something crop body sensor lens from Canon? I don't know. Maybe it's worth it. It's really hard to put a follow focus or anything on this. That ring's too tiny, so it's all manual. But if you're going stripped down with the Pocket 6K, this might be a great way to do things. A very affordable, low-key, street savvy, and produce some decent images out of it. So, thanks for watching the video today. Again, appreciate you subscribing to the channel. And yeah, got some comments, let me know, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace. How far will this thing track me? Yeah? Did it lose me? Oh, it lost me. Okay, what about now? What about now? You got me? You got me? Come on back. Come on back. All right. Peace, y'all. We'll see you in the next video.